Hashem. They were going to study chapter 38, verse 1 with the Rashi. So this is the story of Judah and Tamar. That's how it's known, but it's actually a very, very important story within the context of the Torah. So much of the later chapters, of the later narratives, all depend upon this moment. This is the rise of the greatness of Judah. Says the pasuk, Vayeishev, was at that moment, Vayered Yehuda Vayeishev. Judah descended from his brothers. We'll see what that moment was. Vayet ad ish adulami ushmo chira. He goes to this figure, doesn't appear in the Bible after this chapter. We don't hear from him again. He's a minor figure in the Bible, but he obviously played a very important part. Because Judah goes down from his brothers, and he goes to this Adulamite man whose name was Chira. So what does Rashi tell us? It was at that time. Why is this passage here, Rashi says? Why does it interrupt the episode of Yosef? So, to tell you, it says Rashi, that the brothers, that Judah's brothers took him down from his greatness, that he had been in an elevated position, and after the whole incident with Joseph, they lowered him from his position. They removed him. Kishero bitzarat avihem, when they saw the distress of their father. When it says Vayer Yehuda Vayeishev, it means he descended in status. That's how the commentaries understand it. That's what Rashi is telling us. Amru, they said to him, Ata amarta lemachro. You were the one who told us to sell him. Ilu amarta shivo hayinu shomim lach. If you would have said to return him, they said we would have listened to you. So they blamed him for the sale of Judah, for the sale of Joseph. Vayet me'et achav, and he turned away from his brothers. So the root nata means turning away from one thing toward another. It means that, so he turned away from his brothers. That's what he turned away from. Vayet, and he turned.
Rabbi,
Yes.
with Abraham and with Yitzchak, Vayet is referring to the tent. Vayet aholo, right?
Yeah, so here, it's a very good point. Here, Rashi says that the word vayet means turning away from one thing towards another. So I don't know why there it means he pitched his tent. Maybe it means he turned towards his tent there.
Okay, thank you.
So, vayet ad ish aduami, and he turned towards the Adulamite man, ushmo Chira. His name was Chira. Rashi says, who is this Adulamite man? Nishtate fimo. He became a partner with him. Hey boys, how you doing? Come on in. Check there in the corner. You doing okay, Norai? What are you drinking? Hot cocoa or water? Tea. You're a tea man. Okay. Okay, we're in chapter 38, verse 2. Vayarsham Yehuda. Excellent, Judah. Excellent. Excellent. Vayarsham Yehuda Bat Ish Kanani, and he saw there, and Judah saw there the daughter of a Canaanite man, Ushmo Shua. So we're in chapter 38, verse 2, 207. He saw there a daughter of a Canaanite man. That's the way it literally reads, and whose name was Shua. And he took her, and he was with her. meaning to say he married her. What? But Rashi here tells us the Canaanite man doesn't mean Canaanite; it means a merchant, because Judah was not supposed to marry a Canaanite because that was the prohibition. Okay, so now we come up to the next pasuk. Judah, you read it. Gimel, Patahar, Vatar, Vatelad, Bain.
Where?
Gimel, air. Right, okay, you read it right, no, right? Vatar, Vatelad, Bain, and she gave birth, she conceived, she gave birth to a son, and she called his name Er. That first child was Er. Er means to like awaken. At this point, Judah's in like a depression. Why? Because these brothers were sold. He went down. So he had the first child, and he calls him. She doesn't call him, but Judah calls him Er. He wants to wake up. You have the place, Judah?
Yeah.
This is about your name. This is Judah's name. Okay, read the next pasuk. Onan, right. So she conceived again, she gave birth to a child, and she called this child Onan. Onan, the meaning is less clear what it means, but we'll find out that the name takes on another meaning. Okay, go on, no, right? We're in chapter 38, verse 5, Rabbi Aryeh. What? Vatosef Od. Right, Shelah. Excellent. So Vatosefod, she continued to bear children, and uh, um, and after he bore children, she gave birth to another child, and she called his name Shelah, and he was in Ksiv when she gave birth to this third child. So Rashi says Ksiv is the name of the place, and Rashi gives a second explanation, and it's called Ksiv. That's because that's where she stopped giving birth. She got injured during birth of Shelah, and Ksiv means she was no longer like a failing spring. Okay. Because otherwise, what else does it mean? A third approach is, what does Shelah mean? The Vayeishev Rabbi says, I saw. It means pisakat. She stopped. Oh, here, Aryeh, show our friend Simon where the Chumashim are. Okay. Okay, so now we're on what page are we on, Norai? 209. Okay, yeah, you read passage. You read the passage, Judah. Judah took a wife. We're doing the Parshat Shavua, Simon, and we're doing chapter 38. We go every day a little bit more. So Judah took a wife. Oh, let's study tonight in memory of Simon's mother. What is her Hebrew name, Simon? Esther Bet Yaakov. She has the yortzeit. It's the yortzeit tonight. So Judah took a wife for her son Er, his firstborn, and her name was Tamar. Tamar can mean in modern Hebrew a date, but it could also mean in the Bible, it's also Tmura, an exchange. And you'll see that there was an exchange going on. So Judah takes a wife for his son, and her name is Tamar. Okay, Aryeh, you read. Zayin. Vayehi. Exactly. So Er, the firstborn of Judah, did bad in the eyes of God. And God killed him. What did he do wrong? Rashi fills us in. The text doesn't say what he did wrong. The text just says he did something wrong. By the way, is anybody here? Have you guys read this story already? You familiar with this? No. This is where you became great, Judah. What about you, Nora? Are you familiar with this? And did they study this story with you? Okay, I don't understand how they don't do this story. So it's bad in the eyes of God. What?
Our teacher skipped it completely.
Okay. So it says he did bad in the eyes of God. What did he do? So Rashi says that Er is going to do the same sin that the next brother did, Onan. Kirato shel Onan, like the bad sin that Onan did. What did he do? Mashchit zaro. He destroyed his seed. Shenemar ba'onen, it says about Onan, vayamet gam oto. He also died. He died the same way that Er died. They both died for the same reason. Meaning to say, what does it mean he destroyed his seed? Rashi says he, instead of when he was with his wife, basically, he instead of depositing his seed in his wife as part of their marital responsibilities, he deposited his seed on the ground. Why did he do that? Rashi says, he didn't want his wife to become pregnant. What would happen if she became pregnant? He felt that she would become less beautiful. So he did not want her to become pregnant, so therefore he sinned by depositing his seed on the ground. Okay, go on. Nohorai. Oh, who just read that pasuk? Aryeh? Judah? Vayomer, what was it? Vayomer Yehuda Onan. Right. So Judah says to Onan, who's Onan in this story? Anybody remember? Okay, Judah is how many children with his wife, the daughter, with his wife, the daughter of Shua. How many children does Judah have? 3. The first is Er. What's happened to Er? He didn't put his seed in his wife, so he died. God killed him. Now we have the second son. What's the?
I remember this.
Now you got it. What's his second son's name? Onan. So Onan, Rashi said. So the pasuk says, Judah said to Onan, "Go marry your brother's wife and do yibum with her, and uphold the seed of your brother." Do you ever hear of yibum? You know what yibum is? What's yibum, Aryeh? Exactly. If a man dies and he has no children, then his brother in biblical times was supposed to do yibum or chalitza. Yibum was where the brother would marry his brother's widow, and thereby, still technically what? So nowadays we no longer do that, but the Torah has another technique, which is called chalitza, where if the brother does not want to marry, the woman removes his shoe and spits on the floor in front of him and says the passage that this man does not want to uphold the house of his brother. In biblical times, it was done yibum mostly, or it was ideal, but they also had the option of chalitza. Nowadays, they only do chalitza, and tragically in the war in Gaza, there were many examples of women who had to go do chalitza. More than a dozen examples of such, and I know from at least one of the women how incredibly painful it was to do this ritual. That's another point. But they had to go to the Bet Din and do the chalitza. It's very. One woman was horrified by the fact that she had to go through this ritual. Okay. Anyway, so Judah says to Onan, "You marry your brother's wife and uphold the seed of your brother." Okay. Aryeh, you read. Yeah. Vayeda Onan. Kilolo, right? Right. So Onan knew, excellent. Kilolo Yazara. He knew that if he made his brother's wife pregnant, that the seed would be considered somehow his brother's seed. And so therefore, when he was with his brother's wife, Tamar, you following the story? You following what's going on here? And he put his seed onto the ground. And therefore, he did not want to uphold the seed of his brother. Because, first of all, you could understand it that saying, if he had, I mean, just like we can imagine, if he would uphold the seed of his brother, and he would have a child through Tamar, maybe that child would inherit his brother's property. But if he didn't have a child, then he would be the one to inherit his brother's property, or he'd have to split his father's property with that child or something. Whatever his reasoning was, he didn't want to do it. Rashi speaks euphemistically. According to Talmud, he would, I don't have to explain it to you guys because you guys are very sophisticated, but he says he would thresh on the inside and winnow on the outside. Okay, so now we come to the next pasuk. Kobe, let's go. Yud, Vayera. Vayera, 10. He just picked a random word from the Bible and read it. He just picked a random word. He opened it up and read a random word. Okay, good. Yeah, good. Vayera b'nei Hashem. Excellent. So God was upset with what Onan did, and he also died. Why are they dying? Because they're refusing to make their wife pregnant. Okay. So this, by the way, is called, and this is the sin of onanism, where you're just putting your seed to waste and you're not being like productive with it to like, what? It's named after this man. Why did who? The first one, didn't want to make his wife pregnant because he thought that would take away her beauty. The second one didn't want to make his wife pregnant because he thought that the seed would be attached to his brother's name because it was his brother's wife. So he felt like somehow that would be his brother's child, and he didn't want to make a child for his brother. So now, really, Judah's seeing this, and he sees two of his sons died, and he thinks that their wife is at fault. He thinks Tamar is the one who's causing them to die. He thinks she's the black widow. So now he doesn't want to give his third child to Tamar. But the law is, at least according to the Talmud, that while she's waiting for the Yibum to happen, how are you doing? Baruch Hashem, grab a chumash. While she's waiting for the Yibum to happen, she's not allowed to marry anybody else. It's right here. We have one for you, Jonathan. So while she's waiting for the Yibum to happen, she can't marry anybody else. So now she's like, it's called like Shomeret Yavam. She can't marry. So look at the next pasuk, Judah. Vayomer, yeah. Avir, right? Right. So Judah said to Tamar, his daughter-in-law, remain a widow in your father's home until my third son, Shelah, will get older, because he was worried lest he will die like his brothers. And so Tamar went and stayed in her father's home. But the issue is, Rashi says he was just pushing away with her with a pretext. He really never intended to have Tamar marry Shelah because he was certain that she was like a black widow, that she caused her husbands to die. So meanwhile, what's going on is Tamar can't marry anybody. She's being blamed, but she's not being blamed directly. He just is pushing her off. Okay, Nehorai Vakasha. Vayirbu Yamim, Shua. Okay, right. So there was many days, and the daughter of Shua died, the wife of Judah. So now Judah's without a wife, and Judah was looking for comfort. Vayinachem Yehuda, Vayal goes to Zaytono. He went up to shear a sheep, him and his friend Chira, the Aduami, and they went to Timnah. Now, this is the first time in the Bible that the word friend appears. So he went up to shear a sheep. Rashi says he didn't actually shear the sheep, but he was like standing over the people shearing the sheep. Okay, Arya, you read. Was it 13? Vayugad? Vayugad Tamar, right? Right. So now it was told to Tamar saying, behold, your father-in-law has gone up to Timnah to shear his sheep. So Tamar is going to get a plan because she's being treated unfairly. So Tamar is told that her father-in-law was up there shearing his sheep. But Rashi points out something about Timnah, a technical point, but by Samson also was in Timnah. And so it says Samson went down to Timnah. So Timnah, was it going up or going down? So Timnah was on the slope of a mountain. One goes up to it from this side and down on the from the other side. So okay, Timnah was on a slope, was on a mountain, and Judah was going up to it. Fine. Now, Judah, please read. No, Yudalad. Tosar. Matachas. Himnata. Okay, very good, Judah. So she removed her widow's She removed her widow's garments from upon her. If she covered herself in a veil. Vatitalaf, she wrapped herself. She says she covers her face. She basically put on like a hijab because she didn't want anybody to recognize her. She dressed like, where did she sit? She sat at the crossroads on the road to Timnah because she saw Kirasaki Gadal Shelah. She saw Shelah grown older and Judah not given him as a husband. So here she's living as a widow and she's being denied the third son. So she hatched a plan. And basically what the plan is that what's Petach Hanem? The crossroads. That she was disguising herself like a prostitute, making herself unrecognizable, and then she's going to, I'll give you the ending of the story so you can read in the text. She's going to sleep with Judah, and at that point, she's going to get pregnant from him, and she'll prove that it wasn't her fault that the boys kept dying. What a plan, right? What could go wrong? What could go wrong, no, right? So Rashi says, it says she sat at the entrance on the crossroads that she sat at the entrance of Avram because all of the eyes looked eagerly to see. Mean to say that's where everybody was because she saw that Shelah had grown. And so therefore, that's why she made herself available to Judah because she desired to bear sons from him. But really, she wasn't allowed to. So the Talmud compares this to what's called Talmud discusses this in the context of like a sin for the right reasons. She wasn't supposed to be with Judah, but the alternative was completely unfair. Yeah. Okay, no, Ra, you read the next part.
Before the Torah was given,
One second. Yeah, that was a comment. Yes.
before the Torah was given, wasn't there an option for anybody from the family to do the Ibum?
Someone suggests that, some commentaries suggest that, but there's no like evidence of that.
He wasn't even bar mitzvah when his brothers died.
I am just saying you can come up with ideas, but the simplest reading of this is that Ibum. I mean, Nachmani suggests something like that, but there's no evidence of that. There's nowhere in the Torah does it say that. And also, like if that's the case, she should have said to Judah. She was waiting for the brother, but she wanted to have a child from that line. That's the point. So, okay, no, right? Vayera Yehuda. Right, so Judah saw her, and he assumed she was a harlot. Vayeishev Zonah. All right, Noam, how you doing? Baruch Hashem. Sorry that you had this job. That's all I said today. You got to talk to them. Did they confirm with you?
I did. Called them 15 minutes. Said we'll be out ready in 15 minutes.
Oh my God! Don't say their names. It'll be lashon hara.
They were.
So you're saying is they're not so reliable.
Yes.
That's what it is. There.
Or maybe I think maybe they miscalculated.
Too good.
What?
They miscalculated.
No. They're everybody's work in progress. Some people have each of us have different skills in life. Some people are really good at time management. Some people are really good at responding to texts. Some people are really good at being positive. So everybody's got their strengths, and clearly they need to improve in time management. So, but that's that. They have other strengths, which many of us don't have. Okay, so yeah, that's just the reality. You'll see in life, there's no perfect person. Some people are really good in some areas and really bad in other areas. Like some people are really good at school. Other people are really just good at being people, just being like nice people. Some people are really good at singing. The other people are really good at just being creative. If everybody had every skill set completely right, then life would be boring. So we have everybody has a different skill set which complements each other, and through that's how we make a better world, ideally. So that's the concept. That's the concept. So Judah sees her and assumes that she's a harlot because she had covered her face. Rashi says he wasn't able to see her and recognize her. But then he quotes a midrash and says she had covered her face the whole time she was in her father-in-law's house because she was so modest. So therefore, he had no idea what she looked like. It's not that she covered her face now. In the past, she had covered her face. So he had no idea what she looked like. That's how modest she was. Anyway, this is a very, very, very important story. So we're going to take it up again tomorrow. You had a question, Judah? You sure? You got it all perfectly?
Got it all.
I'm sorry?
They had prostitutes.